Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Friends, in this video, I am going to be covering the rules for exclamation marks. Now, this is my first video for written English. Before this, I have always made videos on spoken English, communication skills and accent. And the reason being that I feel that technology has more or less taken care of written English. These days, you have tools like ChatGPT and Chrome extensions like Grammarly, which can correct all your grammar and punctuation errors. But I'm also conscious that some organizations do not allow access to these tools. And if you're a student giving a comparative exam, you may have to write down an entire passage, and hence you should know the punctuation rules, and exclamation marks is one of them. So let's get started. Introduction to exclamation marks. Friends, this is the exclamation mark sign, and an exclamation mark can also be called an exclamation point. Now, let's understand which kind of sentences have exclamation marks. Now, periods or full stops normally go at the end of declarative sentences. Now, a declarative sentence is also a positive sentence. For example, I like dogs. This is a positive sentence where you're just telling somebody that you like dogs. This ends with a full stop, and as you see, there is a full stop at the end of the sentence. Question marks go at the end of interrogative sentences. Do you like dogs? Where you're asking somebody a question, and this ends with a question mark at the end of a sentence, as in here. Exclamation points go at the end of exclamatory sentences. I love dogs. Now this sentence ends with an exclamation mark, as is shown here. Now you might ask the question that what is the difference between number 1 and number 3? I like dogs and I love dogs. Now I like dogs is a fairly normal statement. It does not have any high emotion in it. But when you say the third sentence, I love dogs, your rate of emotion is high. Your pitch is high, and the emotion in this is high because you're telling somebody that you absolutely love dogs. They are your passion as such. And hence, sentences like these end with an exclamation mark. Now, can you put a full stop sign or a period sign after that? Sure, you can. The sentence will not be wrong. But you could also put an exclamation mark because the emotion in this is high. So I hope that is clear, that exclamation points go at the end of exclamatory sentences. Let's dive further into this and understand rule 1 of exclamation marks. Rule 1, use an exclamation mark to show emotion, emphasis, or surprise. We use exclamation marks to exclaim something. Now, what does that mean? To exclaim means to cry out suddenly in surprise, strong emotion, or pain. Let's look at these sentences. Here he comes. I hate pasta. Stop screaming at me. Watch out. Hello, how are you? This pizza is delicious. Now, if you look at these sentences, friends, the emotion in this is very high as compared to normal sentences. If you look at the first one, here he comes, which means that he or she just saw a celebrity or maybe somebody she likes and she's very excited to see this person. So the emotion is high. Stop screaming at me. Number 3. In this, the person is very angry. Maybe the person has been screaming at him for quite some time. And he says, stop screaming at me. This pizza is delicious, right? You're telling somebody that it tastes very good. So if you see these 3 sentences, in fact, all these sentences, the emotion is very high in them. And hence such sentences always end with an exclamation mark. Now, if you end this sentence with a period sign or a full stop sign, will this be wrong? Absolutely not. However, such sentences where the emotion is high, you suddenly cry out in surprise or a strong emotion of pain or excitement, such sentences should always end with an exclamation mark. Let's now go to rule number 2. It says, use an exclamation mark at the end of a sentence. Now let's understand 2 rules out here. First one, an exclamation mark can replace a period or a full stop sign at the end of a sentence. That's number 1. And number 2, it can also replace a mid-sentence comma if it is inside quotation marks. Now this can sound a little confusing, so let's understand it with an example. First one, let's get married, right? This ends with an exclamation mark. But the incorrect will be, let's get married, exclamation mark and also a full stop, right? An exclamation mark replaces a period or a full stop sign at the end of a sentence. That's the first one. You cannot have both of them. Right? So the second one is incorrect. You can either have an exclamation mark or a full stop, but not both of them. Let's understand the second one. Help me, Robin yelled. Right? Now, after help me, you can have a comma. right? But you cannot have a comma as and an exclamation mark. Many people, what they do is they put the exclamation mark. Now the emotion in this is high, right? What you can do is help me, comma, and then Robin yelled. But what you cannot do, and which will be incorrect, is help me, exclamation mark, and then comma. So if I were to summarize this page, there are two things coming out in this page: that you cannot have an exclamation mark and a full stop, and you cannot have an exclamation mark and a comma along with it. So I hope that is clear. Let's move on to rule number 3. Use exclamation marks to express great emotion at the end of an imperative sentence. We usually use periods at the end of imperative sentences or commands. However, we can use as an exclamation mark to express great emotion, right? Let's understand this. Examples: sit down versus sit down right now, right? So if you look at this sentence, first one, this is an ordinary sentence, sit down. In the second sentence, you sit down right now. Okay, you're ordering someone, you're angry with someone. Okay, so the emotion in this is high, and then hence an exclamation mark. Let's look at another one. Be careful. Be careful. In the second one, you're almost raising your voice and asking the person to be careful, right? Maybe the person is about to fall or he could injure himself, and you say, be careful, right? It could end with an exclamation mark. Stop doing that. Stop that, right? In the second one, again, your emotion is high, and maybe you're angry with someone, and hence you have an exclamation mark. Rule number 4. How to use exclamation marks with quotation marks. Now there are 4 rules out here, and let's understand them. Rule number 4A. Put the exclamation mark at the end of the quotation if it applies to the words enclosed by the quotation marks, right? Now this may sound a little tricky, but let's understand this. Example: I just got a promotion. Now let's understand this rule. Put the exclamation mark at the end of the quotation if it applies to the words enclosed by the quotation marks. Now in this, the words which are enclosed in the quotation marks are I just got a promotion, and this is where you need to put the exclamation mark, not at the end of the sentence, okay? Because if it applies to the words enclosed, and here the exclamation mark applies to the words enclosed in the quotation marks, I just got a promotion. Okay, so that's rule number 4A. 4B says if the exclamation mark applies to the entire sentence, right? That's the difference between 4A and 4B. If the exclamation mark applies to the entire sentence, then place it at the end of the sentence. Let's look at the example. After that, my boss told everyone that they were fired for being completely useless, right? Now this exclamation mark applies to the entire sentence and not a part of the sentence, and hence you see that the exclamation mark is towards the end of the sentence, and that is what the rule says. If the exclamation mark applies to the sentence, then place it at the end of the sentence, and here the exclamation mark applies to the entire sentence and not to a part of the sentence. So that's 4A and 4B. Let's understand the last rule. When should you use exclamation marks? Should you use it in informal or formal writing? We use exclamation marks most frequently in informal writing. Example: hey Varun, how's it going? I can't wait to see you tomorrow. Congratulations on your engagement. Now this is informal writing, and you can use an exclamation mark out here. Now a couple of things you need to be careful about. That be careful not to overuse exclamation marks in formal writing. And in general, we avoid using an exclamation point in formal business writing. So if you're somebody who writes a lot of emails, make sure that your emails don't have too many exclamation marks, because that shows emotions, right? And it is not proper to have too many exclamation marks in emails or formal business writing. You should not use exclamation marks in resumes or cover letters. Please be mindful of this. You should never use exclamation marks in resumes or cover letters. So friends, now that you've understood exclamation marks, let's have a short quiz. Now here are 6 sentences. What I would like you to do is I would like you to pause the video and tell me which of these sentences are correct. And if they are wrong, do tell me what is wrong in them, right? I'm going to read out these sentences for you. Number 1, hello, how are you? Number 2, I got a promotion yesterday. Number 3, Rohan screamed, it's going to rain on my wedding day. Number 4, stop screaming at me. Number 5, I found my keys, Victor cried out. Number 6, we just saw Messi, my sister yelled. Right? Now friends, please go ahead and pause the video. I will take a break for about 5 seconds. I want you to solve this either in the comments below, or you can do it on a piece of paper. And we will then, after 5 seconds, I will tell you the answers. So pause the video. I will take a break for 5 seconds. So friends, welcome back. And now that you have done the quiz, let's look at the answers. First one. Hello, how are you? Now this sentence is wrong. Why is this wrong? Because there is a gap between the word hello and the exclamation mark. The exclamation mark, friends, has to come immediately after the word. And that is what is wrong out here. What people do, and I've seen many people commit this particular mistake, is that they put a gap between the word and the exclamation mark. That is completely wrong. Let's look at number 2. I got a promotion yesterday. This is right. No mistake in this. Okay. Exclamation mark at the right place. Number 3. Rohan screamed, "It's going to rain on my wedding day." This is a wrong sentence. Why is it wrong? Because you have a period or a full stop sign along with the exclamation mark. And I told you earlier that these two can't appear together. So this is wrong. Stop screaming at me. Again, it is wrong because it has an exclamation mark and a full stop. Right? I already told you you cannot do that. Number 5, I found my keys, Victor cried out, is a right sentence. Right? Okay. It has the exclamation mark at the right one. Number 6, we just saw Messi, my sister yelled. Is this right or wrong? This is again wrong because you cannot have a comma and an exclamation mark both. This is something I already told you earlier. You cannot have both. You can have already one of them. You can only have one of them. So friends, do put in the comments below how many you've got right and whether you've understood the concept or not. So friends, if you have liked this video, please subscribe to my channel. Please press the bell. I keep coming up with videos like these to improve your English language and communication skills. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.